You know, after talking about Marvel events for the past couple of weeks, I'm starting to get sick of it. We need to talk about something completely different this week. Like DC events! Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorky, your guide to all things geeky, and welcome to another episode of Comic Class, the show every single week on this channel where we just geek out about comic books. And today sees the finale of an event that you guys have been very excited about and been asking me to talk about, Superman Reborn. So today we are going to talk about that, and of course I'm going to give you my opinions on it. However, unlike with the last couple of events that I covered, I'm not just going to give you my feelings about this, I also have to give you a bit of a backstory. Because the end of Superman Reborn actually has major ramifications for the entire DC universe, especially for anybody who's been looking to see what is the next thing that's going to happen to the DC universe after Rebirth. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for, and I don't think everybody out there has been reading Superman, despite what I've been telling you to do. Shame on you. So I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to go into this, and then for anybody who doesn't want to go ahead and read, or you already have read, I'm just going to give you my opinion on how this thing all wrapped up. Spoiler alert, I really liked it. So, as we all know, about 5-6 years ago, DC decided to relaunch its entire universe. They took all the continuity of all their books, threw it away like it was so much garbage, and then said, hey kids, here's a brand new toy, and they gave us the New 52, and a lot of people had problems with the New 52. They said that it was not quite what the old DC universe used to be. It was lacking the love, it was lacking the heart, it was lacking the friendship, it was lacking the history, and a lot of people kind of pointed to their version of Superman in that. Don't get me wrong, their Superman was okay, but he was lacking a lot of what made Superman Superman, mostly his experience, his history, his relationship with other characters. It was just not there, and that's kind of what we need Superman to be. Those are kind of the things that make Superman who he is. So they decided to kill off the New 52 Superman and then reveal that the old Superman and the old Lois Lane from the pre-New 52 universe, from the old DC universe that we all knew and loved, they were still alive, they had a child, they had been secretly living in this universe this whole time, and when the New 52 Superman died, as well as the New 52 Lois Lane who died shortly afterwards, when both of them died, the two of them decided to come out of hiding. They were still living in secret. They couldn't go out there and say, hey, I'm Clark Kent, I'm still alive, because right before that Superman died, his identity got leaked to the entire world, so everybody knew that Clark Kent was Superman. So they have been living secretly as the Smiths over on a farm, and they've just been commuting back and forth between there and Metropolis in order to save the day and so that Lois could pretend to still be a reporter at the Daily Planet. And ever since Rebirth, that is the Superman book that we have had. It has been the story of the old Superman and the old Lois Lane with their new son going out there and trying to take over the roles of these old characters, but everybody was looking at them going, yeah, didn't the old guy die? What happened exactly with that? And also, why are you not Clark Kent? And all of this became really interesting when suddenly a new Clark Kent popped up. Some guy popping up with all the memories of Clark Kent, all the DNA, all the fingerprints, all the other forms of identification of Clark Kent, showing up saying, I'm Clark Kent, and that old Superman came to me, said that I need you to pretend to be me for this story. It was this whole complex thing, you don't need to know his reasonings why, but basically he was saying, yeah, listen, I'm the real Clark Kent, I'm not Superman, I don't have any superpowers at all, I don't know why people won't believe me on this. That was some big conspiracy thing that me and Superman cooked up, and now that's resolved, I just want to go back to being Clark Kent. But this Superman was looking at that Clark Kent saying, yeah, I know you're lying, because I know for a fact that Superman and Clark Kent are indeed the same person. So that's been the big mystery in the Superman series over the past couple of issues, and it's actually been really intriguing. I've been wondering how they were going to resolve it, because there actually came a moment in which he took this Clark Kent up to the Fortress of Solitude, had him touch this magic machine that would show all of his memories, and all of his memories were Clark Kent's memories. So it was like, okay, how on earth are you going to explain this? So the story of Superman Reborn was going to reveal who this mysterious Clark Kent was, but it was also going to try and fix Superman's place in the DC universe, because I have absolutely been loving the Superman book over the past couple of months. It has been a return to what I loved about that character. It was great getting to see Superman come back and be the Superman that I loved. It was great getting to see him and Lois Lane actually be a family and have a child. I enjoyed every single thing about these books, but even I had to admit, it's kind of weird that the Superman in this universe is not from this universe. And so that way everybody around him is looking at him like, yeah, I don't know you, man. Like, I really want to see Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman teaming up, and they do have a series out there where they team up every single issue. However, it's kind of weird that Superman is like, all right, Batman and Wonder Woman, let's go out there and save the day. And the two of them are like, yeah, you're not our friend. That guy died. I don't know who you are. We'll still go out there and save the day. We're gonna try and be friends with you, but this is weird. It's awkward. We just have to say that. Everybody just come together and say this is awkward, that none of us actually know you, but you're acting like you know us. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The storyline opens up with the mystery Clark Kent kidnapping John Kent, the son of Superman and Lois Lane, and basically just makes him vanish, and the two of them then race off to Clark Kent's apartment to try and figure out who he is, and then all of a sudden he pops up and he fights Superman for a bit, and then finally Superman realizes who he is, Mr. Mxyzptlk. And before anybody comments down below, I actually love that they actually wrapped up this issue by saying there's like 5 different ways that you can pronounce this guy's name, and they're all correct. So nobody come into the comments and tell me I'm incorrect for pronouncing it Mxyzptlk, because first off, I'd like to point out I stutter and stammer so much on this show, and yet for some reason I can say Mxyzptlk perfectly. That's how you know I am too geeky to live. But yeah, I love that they actually finally resolved that issue by coming in here and saying, you know what, screw it, you're all correct, alright? They came up with this guy 60, 70 years ago. They never thought that some doof would be standing up on a YouTube channel trying to pronounce his name. You're all correct. Just get over with it. So, yes, it was revealed that this mystery Clark Kent was actually Mr. Mxyzptlk this whole time. And I love that. That is the perfect answer to this for multiple reasons. One, it's because they set up so incredibly well that this guy is actually Clark Kent, that the only possible explanation for why he could believe this thoroughly that he is Clark Kent is through magic. And I kept thinking, well, maybe he's from an alternate dimension, but no, he's got some weird powers, but how do you explain how this Clark Kent who believes he's Clark Kent has these weird powers? I was like, there is no possible explanation for it, so the explanation is that it's the guy who makes the impossible happen. It's the impossible imp. Alright, it was the perfect answer. And I also love that in the issue right before this, in the very back page of it, it said, who is Clark Kent? And gave you like 5 options. It was like Bizarro, Luke, Lex Luthor, Mr. Mxyzptlk was one of them. See, I knew I would screw it up eventually. And I love that they put him up there as an option, because I grew up in the day and age where if a comic book company told you, oh, who could it possibly be? Here are some options. It meant it was not going to be one of those options. So as soon as I saw him in there, I thought, that actually would explain it, but because they're telling me it's an option, there's no way it's going to actually happen. So they totally blindsided me with this one. Way to go, DC. But I also love that it's Mr. Mxyzptlk simply because, as we all know, the DC New 52 universe was created because Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen universe basically looked over at the DC universe and went, listen, I've ascended to the point of becoming a god. I can create universes now. I can tamper around with them. If I'm going to be a god, I might as well do that. I might as well experiment. And when Wally West returned in Rebirth, he said, someone removed the family, someone removed the hope, someone removed the love from this universe. So when they revealed that was the Watchmen who were responsible for this, I absolutely love that. Simply because comics used to be about fun. That was the #1 priority for them. I'm not saying there aren't fun comics out there. There are tons of fun comics out there. We're living in a comic book golden age in which you can find a comic out there for whatever you want to read. If you want to read a fun book, there's fun books. If you want to read serious books, there's serious books. However, there came a time after the Watchmen were created, and I say this like it happened immediately after the Watchmen. No, this went on for decades after the Watchmen came out. in which there was that select group of people who read the Watchmen and went, more comics need to be like this. This is the golden standard for comics. We need to make all comics more like this. And you can tell that the people who molded the New 52 kind of looked at Watchmen and went, let's make it a little bit more like that. Let's make it way more serious and way darker and way grittier, just like that. So I absolutely love that the explanation for why all the love and hope and friendship and fun and laughter got taken out of the DC universe to make the New 52 was because of the Watchmen, because that's literally the reason for it. It's that they had happened in the comics what happened outside the comics. And this ties back into Mr. Mixie's Yes Spitlick because they said that Dr. Manhattan came in here and he basically removed the fun from DC Universe. And as soon as I heard that, literally one of my first thoughts was, what about Mr. Mixie's Yes Spitlick? Because that guy has seminal, phenomenal cosmic powers, but he's all fun. He's an imp who just wants to play games with Superman. You defeat him by making him say his own name backwards. He's totally just goofy and cartoonish. What happened to that guy? Because he's all fun, but he's also as powerful as Dr. Manhattan. So I was really happy to see A, an explanation for where the heck he has been this whole time, and B, I was really happy to see him come in here and go, listen, I am next to unlimited powered, but I'm gonna get out here before that guy shows back up. Listen, the guy who tampered with all this stuff, he's gonna notice that I'm down here screwing everything up again. I gotta get the fudge out of here right now. But first, I'm gonna get my revenge on Superman because I've been locked up in this outside of time and space dimensional prison this whole time. It's the same place that Tim Drake is locked up in for anybody who's been reading the Detective Comics, which is really darn good. But I've been locked up outside of time and space this whole time, and I finally broke free, and I'm mad at you, Superman, for not coming to rescue me. That was what I was hoping for this whole time, that Superman, you would come and rescue me. So you know what? Screw it. You can rescue me. I'm gonna make it so that you don't rescue the one thing that you love the most, your own son. So he kidnaps his son, and then says, you gotta play a game with me if you want to get him back. And then when Superman finally gets to the end of this game, he just basically vanishes and fades away. And then what takes his place is the New 52 Superman and Lois Lane. And Mixie's Yes Spitlick then comes in here and explains, hey man, I'm just playing with what I got. And he rearranged this entire universe. The big guy up there who manipulated everything, he rearranged this universe so that this is the Superman in this universe. So when you got here, it was basically a reset button. Because you see, the reason why we have the old Superman and the old Lois Lane from the previous universe is because they escaped their dying universe right before it was manipulated and turned into this universe. So basically what he was saying is that when he got to the end of this game, it reset him, but it reset him for this universe, so he then became the New 52 Superman and the New 52 Lois Lane, and John Kent was standing there going like, Mom, Dad, don't you recognize me? And they're like, I don't have a kid. I've never had a kid. None of this is real. Like, kid, I'm sorry, but Mr. Mixie's over there, he was screwing with your head. You don't actually have parents. We're not your parents. I don't know who your parents are. And he's like, but you two love each other. And Lois is like, yeah, I'm just friends with this guy. I don't actually love this guy. And like, it was really touching watching John Kent trying to hold on to his parents, but also try and hold on to what we, the readers, love about these characters. We love seeing them as the Superman, Lois Lane that are married and have a child and have a family. We have loved reading that. And this was like watching them being taken away all over again. It was like watching the New 52 happen all over again. And so when he was there fighting to keep them together, he wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for the audience. He was fighting for that audience that was like, no, 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 don't you take this away again. We just got it back. We just fixed this. But as Jonathan is trying to convince these two that they are indeed his parents and they do love each other, he can hear his parents' voice. He can hear them talking to him, and he knows that their essence, their life energy is still floating around this big cosmic battlefield, and he's able to get them to slowly start listening to him, and then the energy, life force, whatever you want to call it, of his parents merges with the New 52 versions of themselves, and basically it creates a brand new version of themselves that's like, okay, we have all of our memories. We remember having a son. We remember being married. We remember that we love each other, but our life, our history has now successfully merged with the New 52. So now, what this means is that the Superman and Lois Lane of this universe are no longer the last survivors of the doomed previous universe. They are indeed the Superman and Lois Lane of this universe, and they go out and they explain this and they say, hey listen, their history has now merged with this history and they corrected it. He basically comes in here, like the big narrator of all this, comes in here and says, they have created something brand new just through their love, which I am so happy that they came in here and they said, yeah, the answer to all this was that love indeed conquered all, because as we said, Dr. Manhattan came in here and he took the love out of the new 52. He took the love out of the DC universe, and this was just a big triumph. This was them coming in here and saying, no. The idea that characters are growing and bonding with each other and that they eventually love each other and that they actually form bonds with each other, it's stronger than any manipulation. No matter what some editor might say when they come in here and they say we have to make this dark and edgy, the true bonds between these characters, the things that we the readers love, will eventually shine through. It will eventually correct that. That's what happened here. They came in here and they went, yeah, we're now Superman and Clark Kent and Lois Lane of this universe. Jonathan Kent was no longer born in some alternate reality. He was born here on this earth. We no longer had to live in hiding on a farm somewhere, which I wonder if they're going to keep the farm, because I actually really like them having a farm. I actually really like the school that John was going to. I really like their neighbors. They were setting up some interesting stuff with that, so I do hope that that sticks around. But the important thing is that Superman is no longer going to have to live out there as John Q. Smith or whatever his name was. He's going to be Clark Kent. He's going to be going to the Daily Planet with Lois Lane, his wife, their kid, John Kent, is going to come in there and visit them at work. They are the Superman and Lois Lane and Jonathan Kent of this universe. And I know there might be some people out there saying, but what's the science of this? Like, what exactly happened? Like, why exactly did they merge together? I love that they came in here and they just said, it's love. That's it. You want these characters like this. Superman is destined to be with Lois Lane, and we all know it. It's important that they're together. We love the fact that they have a family. That is what corrected all of this. I love that this guy who's kind of been manipulating everything from the start looked at this and was like, oh my God, love alone was able to alter the universe. Love alone was able to fight back Dr. Manhattan's manipulation. And I absolutely adore the fact that they didn't come in here and go, yes, well, if we actually study it, then we have to actually figure out the reason why it happened. He just said, it's love. That was it. The true spirit of these characters is what broke through in the end. Do I even need to sit here and tell you the moral of that? Do I even need to sit here and tell you why that's important? Now, as I said, this is going to have huge ramifications for the rest of the DC universe for a couple of reasons. One, as I said, everybody is going to stop looking at Superman like, yeah, who are you exactly? Like, Supergirl is going to stop looking at him like, yeah, you're not my actual cousin. My actual cousin died. I don't know who you are. She's now going to look at him and go, that's my cousin over there. Batman and Wonder Woman are going to stop looking at him like, yeah, I guess we can trust this guy. They're going to look at him and go, yeah, we can totally trust this guy. It's Superman. We know this guy. We have fought beside him for years. And speaking of 4 years, the biggest thing that this has me wondering is that when Wally West returned, he said someone ripped 10 years of our lives away. It wasn't just hope, it wasn't just love, it wasn't just friendship that got taken away. It was 10 years of our lives, because when they created the New 52, they came in here and they said, yeah, these heroes have only existed for 5 years. Superman became Superman 5 years ago. That was the first superhero to pop up. There were no superheroes in this universe until that point. However, Jonathan Kent, he's like, what, 10 years old? And in their like little flashback that you see of their new history that has been created, you see Jonathan Kent being held by Jimmy Olsen and Perry White. Clearly, the two of them met at work after Superman had been Superman, had this child. That means, did they just add the 10 years back in here? Did they just actually fix that? Did they take the 10 years that Dr. Manhattan took away and slammed it back in here? Did they just do it for Superman though? Like, is Superman the only hero who now has his full history restored? Because you see like all the villains he's fought to, it's all his villains. Like, it's the ones from weird little crossovers that you might have totally forgotten happened. They're saying, nope, that happened now. That's canon once again. They basically took those 10 years, shoved them back in here, said, me and Lois got married, we've had a kid this whole time, and you guys knew about it, which means I had to have been Superman this whole time. So that's the number one thing that I am questioning. Does this mean that the 10 years are back? And if they are they back for everyone? Did suddenly they fix Batman's screwed up history? Because, yeah, I'm sorry, that is a screwed up history over there. The dude has had, what, 5 Robins in 5 years? That's an internship program at this point, not a family. So yeah, the aftermath and the fallout from all of this is going to be explained in several other books. I'm going to check them out to try and figure out what's going on. I can't promise I'll make a follow-up video to this because I might be just as confused then as I am now. However, it's got me hopeful. It has me looking at the few things that I was like, okay, these are the things that you need to continue fixing about your universe. You started fixing a lot of stuff with Rebirth. These are the things you need to continue to fix. They fixed a lot in this. So, again, I just have to come in here once again and applaud DC because holy smokes, for a company that was tanking and didn't know what it was doing and was just in a nosedive about 2 years ago, you have turned so much around. Never count DC Comics out. They will always find a way to come back, much like Superman. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of this event down in the comments down below. And if you want to see more fun, geeky videos from me, remember we talk about comic books throughout the week. Then on the weekends, we talk about video games and movies. So if you want to see any of that, then make sure that you click that subscribe button. Also, share these videos around the web. It's the best way to help out this channel. And you can always find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. Thanks for watching, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.